Why zoo flamingos don't fly away? So, why zoo freaking flamingos can't fly away? Could it be that they are too heavy? What happens if they fall into water or the animal gets tangled in the wire? Could the wings get tangled and they are unable to fly away? What can we do to help them with their flying problem? Well, what we can do is make sure they are not carrying heavy weights on them when they are out of the plane and are flying in the air. This one might seem easy, but you have to remember that they are flying at 150 miles per hour when they hit the ground and then have to slow down to an even speed. This can cause some serious problems. Another good idea is to make sure that they do not have any extra heavy objects on them like a stuffed animal. If they do, then this one could be one big problem for them. There are times when you really need to take the time to look over the animals that are running around at the zoo. You do not want to see something die because of a lack of oxygen or be involved in a crash because the cages were too loose. It is also good to know that zoos have procedures in place for taking care of flying animals like zoo flamingos. There are trained professionals that are able to handle these types of situations and help to get the animals to safety. Why zoo flamingos won't fly away is due to the number of different components involved. One of the biggest factors is that they are very social animals and enjoy being in groups. However, they are also used to flying solo and will often go around the zoo by themselves. When they get restless or when bored, the best thing for them is to go outside of the zoo to enjoy the grass and get some fresh air. If your zoo has multiple areas for flying birds, then it is likely that the flying away animals will be more comfortable in their new environment. If you have several different types of zoos, then it might be a good idea to rotate the flying birds so they do not get too bored. This is one of the reasons why zoo flamingos won't fly away as often. They might enjoy spending time in one area of the zoo and being close to other members of their species. The final reason why zoo flamingos don't fly away is because they are just tired after a long day at the zoo. The flying birds will often slow down because they are just exhausted and are in need of some relaxation. When they come back into the zoo wing, they will be ready to fly again. In order for these little birds to enjoy the fresh air that they will need to fly out of the enclosure they are in. The downside to this is that they cannot always fly out to where they want to go. If there are any objects or people in the way, they could crash into them and hurt themselves. You want to make sure that there is nothing in the way when they are flying so they do not crash into anything. If there are trees or other obstacles in the way, then you might want to consider moving them somewhere else. There are many other reasons why zoo flamingos don't fly away, but the ones listed above are some of the most common reasons. The best thing to do when you notice this behavior is to take them back to the exhibit that caused them to act up in the first place. Explain to them what made them act up in the first place and let them know that they can only fly if they leave the zoo. Many times this will solve the problem. If they continue to exhibit bad behavior after this, then you may want to consider talking to a vet. There are many different things that can be wrong with your zoo animals, including flying away and other sorts of problems. Thanks for watching. And don't subscribe if you don't appreciate the hard work.
And don't forget to like, comment, hit the bell, share, and subscribe.